safe and removed. You never get hung up. Never.
How does that sound? Hear me okay? So, besides those 12 trips to the bottom, we've begun, Joe, my husband, and I have begun to take our grandsons to the Grand Canyon. And this was a particular trip that absolutely cemented our relationship with our two grandsons' families. And this is about Enrique when he was 8 years old. 3 couples, 2 grandsons hiking together in the coloring book of rock. 6 pairs of adult eyes and constant vigilance keep the often impulsive Enrique safe from the mile-deep cliff. To bed, later, snuggles with his stuffed fox, and I pull the covers up, bend down to kiss him, this boy I adore. His voice in the dark, "I'm lucky to be alive," then pauses, "So is everyone else," and concludes, "When people walk on that kaibab path in the canyon, Grandma, they should hold on to a bush on the other side. When the path gets thin, lean in the bush direction so they don't drop over the rim." Oh, yeah. That was a very mature thing for him to say, let me tell you, that kid. That was very mature of him. This is my poem. I have to say I totally agree with Heidi. I'm a slow person. I want to I just can hardly move from one spot to the next in the Grand Canyon because there's just so much of richness in every inch, and this is about North Kaibab Trail. After the heat and dust, walk upgrade on the cool path canopied in ancient rock, the granite laced alive with green, the bright angel in North Rim flight percolates nearby, crimson penstemon bugling from its bed, cross path, beside Indian paintbrushes' scarlet chimes, rock-bound plants drip their jewels. Fuchsia lipsticks nod off the twining snapdragon, pink beaver tail and lemon prickly pear, worn like staircase carpet, tessellate the steep cliffs. Magenta cactus blossoms stir longing as you kneel to touch their waxed glory. Dusk webs us over. In the willow thicket, deer shades browse the shallows. On our very first camping trip to the Grand Canyon, way before the deep backpacks in, my family, 2 kids, Joe's Dutch sister Marika, all packed into the Dodge Dart. And we get there after dark, and it's very dark, and we just hope that nothing is going to happen. Nobody's going to drag us out, tow us away, and we unwrap our sleeping bags someplace close to the edge. Color. Gray colored my growth, muffled my parents' Indiana war, flickered across the grainy TV screen. Through my solitary pores, gray mesas poured, sagebrush hop-along on his white horse, pounding up clouds of it. Loney and Tonto, fading across the steely horizon. Now my own children grayed with living. We drove west to follow that past, meet those dusty objects. Sleeping bags popped from the car rubble, stretched out close to the canyon blackness. I fell through the gaping dream. A sky-slashing lasso. That first sunbeam caught us raw. Branded like cattle, looped to each other, we shivered, could not avoid the light, could not escape how close to the edge we had slept, peeled from the rind of darkness, gold leaf segments burned, pyramids pierced, fog-swirled chasms. Rotated toward the sun, we watched the canyon open like a fist, a velvet procession pulled over mesa fingers, damson, amethyst, fuchsia. My gray child heart, now throbbing, rose. And I think the last one. Does that sound right? Okay, so I think a lot about how earth building and our own bodies have some powers that are similar. This has to do with snoring. And this began to be a poem about my husband, but after I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, it now refers to both of us. This was on Horseshoe Mesa, a sharp velocity. Predictably, seconds since we blew out the candle in the thin green of our tiny tent, his gently snorting metronome paces my slower descent. As Pangea dreamed a new landmass, gravity sent a plate drifting north from the equator. His vibration, a drifting pallet, softer than the foam wafer I lie upon. His gauge suddenly lurches. A sharp velocity inspires him as microcontinents slammed against the young tectonic plate. Magma welled through the mangled and crushed mantle. Poop! Wraps my thoughts in a startled vacuum. Memory's vacuum protects against blows. Mountains push up to miles high, then sanded down and gone in this canyon. Another mystery, the great unconformity. He exhales, spits once more. Like magma glues fractures, the basement crevices in dark, twisted rock where we make our hard nest. A strange relocation. My late lessons build like his night breath in this canyon, dumb at first, then accreting soft comforts, then wrested away, uprooted by gravity, forced to resettle once more on life's pillow.